So you know how everybody says you can't use crop sensor cameras for professional work? Well, I'm here to tell you today that that's a lie. So before I first got into photography and videography, I was spending hours online on YouTube looking up tutorials between like the Sony a7 III camera, the Fuji's cameras, full frame cameras, micro four thirds cameras, APS-C cameras. And I was just wrecking my brain like which one is right for me. And I kept hearing stories like, oh, crop sensor cameras, micro four thirds, APS-C cameras aren't used for professional work. You can't use them for professional work. They don't even make professional cameras like professional DSLRs. So I took that into account before I made my camera purchase, and it came down between the Sony a7 III and the Fuji X-T3, and I went with the crop sensor camera because when I rented the a7 III, the Sony a7 III, I held it and it just didn't feel like fun. It just felt like a camera, if that makes any sense. Then when I rented the Fuji X-T3, I felt it and I loved the dials. Immediately, I love the dials. I love how everything is so manual on it. And I just love like the build quality. And I'm just here to tell you that you can use crop sensor cameras for professional work. And throughout the video, I'm gonna be showing y'all some photographs that I did and some clips of some videos that I did to show you what type of image you can get out of the camera. And the camera that I bought was the Fuji X-T3, obviously, and I'm using that with the 18-55 kit lens, and I use the kit lens for 85% of my video work, and I use the 35 f2 lens for most of my gimbal work because it's not stabilized. And this 35 f2 lens is just beautiful. It has great autofocus on it. The weather sealing is great. I took this out in rain, I took this out in hot weather and everything, and it always held up, and the image quality is great. They give you great bokeh for a f2 lens, and I use this for most of my client work, most of my promotional work, most of my commercials, and sometimes even on photo shoots when I'm doing close-ups of the eye of the face, I use this too. But my main portrait lens is, I'm sure you already know if you're a Fuji shooter, is the 56mm 1.2, and I love everything about the lens, but one thing, I just wish it was stabilized. Because when you're using it for video, because I use this for video too, to like have a lot of separation between the person in the background, it's just a lot of shaking. And you know that the Fuji X-T3 doesn't have IBIS in it, but I just love this picture. The quality, the image quality is great. It's so clean and crisp, and it's razor sharp. And the bokeh is just magnificent. And the bokeh is just magnificent on this lens here. Then the lens I don't really use too often, but if I do real estate work, I use it a lot, is the 10-24 f4 lens. And I wish this was like an f2 lens, but I know it'd be probably like twice the size, but that's fine with me because it'll be 2 stops faster. And I use this for a lot of real estate work if I want to show like the whole landscape or the whole house, and it's great for opening and establishing shots as well. And I'm pretty sure you could use this for portraits to get a different type of look, but I'm not really into the wide angle type of portraits. But I do use this lens, but I'll say I use this lens 10% of the time. Most of the time it's the 18-55 for video work, and I use that on handheld, or I use it on a gimbal, or for like interviews and stuff. And I use my 35 f2 for gimbal work and for interviews as well, and the 56 1.2 obviously for portraits. But this is a good lens to have if you're into landscapes and everything. But the lens that I'm trying to get and that I plan on getting next is the 50-140 2.8, because I like to have something a little more telephoto with image stabilization inside it. But as you can see, the Fuji X-T3 is a great camera, 4K 60p. There's not many other cameras out there, especially in this price range, that does 4K 60. It does 10-bit internal, goes all the way to 400 megabits per second, and the image quality is great, the build quality is great, the weather sealing is equally as great, and it's just a fun camera to use. So if you ever hear somebody telling you, oh, don't get a crop sensor camera, it's not great in low light, or you can't use that for professional work, or people are not going to take you seriously, don't believe in that. Because in this past month I made over probably $1,800 in this past month with a combination of photo shoots. I had like some maternity shoots, some baby showers, and some commercial work that I did. And I even did a commercial for edible arrangements, and I'll show y'all a clip of that as well. But you can use this camera for anything, especially if you rig it up so it'll be stable. Like you put like a small rig cage on it, add a top panel, put a monitor, a microphone on it, You got your whole setup. You can make a mini movie with this. You can use it for documentary work. You can use it for interviews. You can use it for promotional videos, commercials, photo shoots. This is really the best all-in-one camera that's out there right now. It's better than, in my opinion, than a Sony a7 III, even though the Sony a7 III is a great camera. But I believe this is better, especially for video, than any other camera that's out there. This and the GH5, but you can use a crop sensor camera for professional work. And hopefully this video showed you whatever you need out of a camera, the Fuji X-T3 can do for you. And it has a microphone input, a headphone input, USB-C charging. Everything is perfect. It's only two shortcomings to me, and that's the lack of IBIS and the battery life isn't so great. But I have the vertical grip and I bought like 8 batteries, so that really isn't a big deal. But everything else, man, this camera is just perfect. You really could keep this camera for the next 3 to 4 years before it gets like old and everything. But I really don't think this camera will ever get old because at 4K, and most people watch YouTube videos on their phone, and most people's phones don't even show videos in 4K resolution. So this camera will be here for years and years to come, and it's a great camera to invest in. So you get my stamp of approval, and I'm letting you know to go out and get this camera. If you've been looking for a camera that does everything from photos to videos, it's reliable. I never had an issue out of this camera, and the Fuji X-T3 is the camera to get. And I'll have a link in the description to most of my gear that I use. So if you want to buy something, please use one of those links in the description, because it helps this channel out, because I'm still broke. Even though I just made $1,800, I had to pay all my bills. So please, thank you. And remember, if you want anything in life, all it takes is faith and a little bit of effort.
How's it going, guys? This is Daniel from Edible Arrangements in Columbus, Georgia. We wanted you to know that if you have that special someone in your life, then they are special to us as well. We want nothing more than to make you happy and put a smile on your face. So come on down and see the wide variety of fruit bouquets we have to offer. From the fruit and flowers bouquet to the berry chocolate bouquet and our most beloved chocolate covered strawberries. Whatever your needs, I'm sure we have something that will make this Valentine's Day very special. Remember, make life a little sweeter with Edible Arrangements.